Today I want to talk to you about the summer seller update, and it's already here, guys. So let's talk about that on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 2023 eBay summer seller update. And was on my seller hub, happened to see the link there, contacted eBay to find out a little bit about this as I went through it, and come to find out much of this is already into effect, so there's really no actual in effect date. Like some seller updates will say, effective on the 1st of this month, it'll be in effect. Well, this is in effect already for the most part. There's some things that aren't in effect. And I thought I'd just go over this here and to cover a few things. I'm not going to do a deep dive into a lot of this stuff because we're going to be looking at a 30-minute, probably already a 30-minute, 45-minute video, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to waste your time. We will be talking about this in more detail on the live stream today at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're watching this after that, then just go back in and check out the live stream. So here it is, guys, the 2023 Summer Seller Update. eBay says this summer we're focusing on providing you with tools and features that'll make your selling experience easier and more secure. And they go on to their little spiel about what they're doing. But let's get into the bullet points here. The first section is running your business. And let's kind of click on that. And the first thing off the bat, what you need to know. We've made it easier for sellers to provide more information when responding to payment disputes. So that's for your chargeback side of things, right? Keep eBay safe marketplace by reporting messages to us that are offensive, scams, threatening, or unwanted. So those bad buyers, we all know who those are. And then keep your listing compliant with EU and UK regulations. So we're not going to dive deep into this one because that's a rabbit hole right there, and I don't want to make this a long video, but I will kind of elaborate on a few things. Now, the first thing is improvements to our payment process, payment dispute process. A payment dispute is when a buyer requests reimbursement for the amount paid for an eBay transaction directly from their payment institution, like the credit card company, PayPal, their bank, that type of thing. That's a chargeback. To help sellers resolve these scenarios, we're improve the process of submitting information to challenge a payment dispute. So I think a lot of this is already into effect, if I'm being honest, from what I've heard. I haven't filed a chargeback in it's been like a year, over a year and a half, I think. And I haven't lost a chargeback yet, but that was with the process that had, you were given the notification of the chargeback, and you were given the opportunity to submit one photo, nowhere to type anything, just one photo. And, I won all my disputes, all my chargeback disputes. I've had 3 of them so far, hopefully no more, knock on wood. But in that process, I took a photo of my Word document and it had my side of the story, and that's what I uploaded. You don't have to do all that now. So it says on point number 1, says sellers now have the ability to add details and explain the reason for challenging a payment dispute by providing text up to 1,000 characters. So yeah, you might think that's overkill, but when you're dealing with a situation that could have multiple communications with the buyer, multiple points that you want to make the credit card company aware of, having 1,000 characters may not even be enough for some people. Point number 2, sellers can now upload 5 separate files of information such as tracking details, shipping labels, messages, and photos. Previously, only a single file would be uploaded, which would require multiple files to be combined into one. And you'd have to contact eBay. They'd send you a link. You can then upload your files that way, kind of thing. At least that's what happened the first time I had a chargeback way back in the day. But you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can now state your side of the story with 1,000 characters and reserve the 5 photo slots for actual photos Could be screenshots. Maybe you have a label that you provided the buyer that they failed to use. Could be a lot of different things. But eBay is giving us more tools to try to defend ourselves. Now, you have 5 days essentially, and I'll kind of go on to the dispute FAQs. How much text can I enter? We already talked about 1,000. How many files can I upload? You can upload 5. No more than 1.7 megabytes for each one. So if you have a high resolution camera, you may need to go in and adjust your photos, change the properties. I'm not going to tell you to do that because it's convoluted for a lot. Maybe you have an easy way to do it, but go in and just make sure your files are small enough to send over to eBay. And it says, what will eBay do with this information? Essentially, they're going to use it to defend you in a case. They also are going to use it to determine if you qualify for seller protections. So it could be a possibility that eBay will find, or the bank will find it in the buyer's favor, regardless of all the information you send to defend yourself. But eBay will step in and to cover you due to seller protection because you've done everything that you can. So let's hope that's the case for some of these transactions. Yeah, will additional information help me win the dispute? Yes, it will. It'll also help them determine if you qualify for seller protections. You have 5 days, guys. 5 days, 5 calendar days, so it doesn't count weekends, to respond. Treat it like a return request. Of course, it's not a defect against you if you fail to reply within 5 days. They're just going to go with what they have to defend you. And if you have a lot of information you want to share, not submitting anything could hurt you. So I would certainly do this. Now, one thing I would state, this is something I tell people that who are doing chargebacks. Many times a buyer is doing a chargeback in violation of their own terms of service with the credit card company, PayPal, bank, in that the buyer is required to act in good faith. They're required to reach out to the merchant, to work with the merchant to resolve their problem. And in a lot of these chargebacks, they don't even bother to try to open a return. They don't communicate, and they simply, or if they do communicate, they don't get the answer they want. And there's other remedies they can use within eBay, and they decide to go in anyway and file a chargeback. Well, that's not acting in good faith. That's taking advantage of the credit card chargeback system, and in doing so without giving the merchant a chance to rectify the problem is in violation with these credit card terms, and you need to state that if that's the case. And in many chargebacks I hear about, that is the case. And all you got to do is say, you know what, the buyer violated their own credit card terms by not working with the merchant before filing a chargeback. So that's one of the things I would put in to many of these chargebacks, is that point there altogether. Now, let's move on to the next thing, which is fees and financials. Now, good thing here, when you see fees and financials, the first thing you think of is, oh boy, here we go again. They're going to hit us with more fees with this seller update. No new fees yet, at least for the summer. But let's see what it says. What you need to know: improvements that reduce unpaid items for Buy It Now and Best Offer listings, changes to the Buy It Now purchases, and Best Offer updates. So reducing unpaid items for Best Offer and Buy It Now items. We know the long-standing challenges of unpaid items have caused many of you, and we've been continuously working to make improvements for better selling experiences. We've already taken steps to reduce unpaid items for Buy It Now sales, and we're now working on extending these updates to Best Offer listings as well. In initial testing, we've already seen significant improvements in successful payments for Best Offer items, and continue to track these trends as we roll these features out. Basically, it's kind of saying that, yeah, we're working on the thing we told you we were going to start working on in the spring. It's just not done yet. That's kind of what it's saying here. Changes to Buy It Now purchases. When purchasing a Buy It Now item, buyers will be taken directly to checkout, where they'll be required to provide payment method and in order to secure the item. And then Best Offer updates. So they're giving us an update here. We're testing a new feature that requires buyers to add payment method on file before making offers on best offer listings. Well, that's not a new feature. They've actually been working on that for a while. After you accept the offer, eBay will collect payment from the buyer's payment method automatically, and buyers won't have to return to eBay to complete the purchase. We will continue to roll out this feature to most best offer listings over the coming weeks. Once launched, these changes will apply to most buyer offers, so you won't need to update or make changes to your best offer listings. We're also working on adapting this feature for seller-initiated offers like offers to watchers and counter offers. So here are the FAQs. What is an unpaid item? We all know what that is. We don't have to click on that. Does this program mean I won't have to any more unpaid item offers? For now, if you have unpaid items, like I have a couple still, after 4 days, just go in and cancel due to non-payment, or give them as much time as you want. But you're giving them a deal anyway. To add more than 4 days, I think is plenty enough for their layaway program. And to add any more time on that, I think is just your decision. But in my world, it's ridiculous. When can I expect these changes to go into place? These are already going on right now for Buy It Now. We already know that. That's been happening for a long time. Our goal is to complete the changes for best offer listings in the coming months. So it means that we're not ready. They're just kicking the can down the road. So what this is just the foot colliding with the can, and the can's now going off down the road. So hopefully fall seller update. Maybe we'll have good news, but in the foreseeable future, probably not right now. So we'll get on to the next one here, which is new promoted listings and standard dynamic ad rates and all that. Updates to promoted listing standard. Keeping an ad campaign competitive in an ever-changing marketplace can be time-consuming, blah, 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 blah. Basically what it's saying is we have dynamic ad rates. So dynamic ad rates. Now you can choose between fixed or dynamic ad rate strategies where your ad rates will be automatically adjusted based on eBay's daily suggested. So you have fixed, which is, look, I'm going to promote at 3%. Hopefully you're not promoting at 2% only. That's where everyone else is at. But let's just say you're deciding I'm going to promote everything at 3%. You can have it set up that way, and every time you list something, it's going to basically, within that campaign, assign 3% to it. Dynamic is different. It's, with the suggested promoted rates, it's always changing. And unfortunately, it seems to always be changing in the upward direction and not really as much in the downward direction. So for this reason, you could say, okay, I'm going to set it at 7%, and that could be the suggested rate at the time you're listing it. But by the time you hit list, that ad rate could have changed. So what's happening here with dynamic is you're telling eBay, I want to be the same as the suggested rate. There's also ways to say, I want to be the same as suggested rate plus, a half percentage point higher. That way you're always ahead of those who are using the promoted rate dynamic just with the suggested rate. And you could put a cap. So like what I do is I have a cap of 10%. I ain't going any higher than that. I don't care. And so if the rates start getting really high for a particular item in a particular category, and it's say 11%, well, they're going to stop at 10% with me. And that's something you can set up within a campaign. And what I thought was kind of interesting is they're coming up with ad rate forecasting. Soon you'll see a performance indicator when creating or editing a campaign that predicts how well it could do, your estimated impression share based on your current ad rate. So let's say you're at 3%. eBay will give you an idea of how much more impressions, which is your traffic, you should expect to see. Now, eBay is not going to tell you how many more sales you're going to get, how many more page views you're going to get, because all they can do is promise you your placement within search and how many impressions to expect your listings to get. Okay, an impression is anytime the buyer sees your item appear on their screen. Could be within a best match search, a search with lowest to high, any kind of search. Could be within someone else's listings. We had talked about that, where other buyers or other sellers' items are appearing in our listings, that type of thing. And that's what eBay can control. And think of it as you have an item for sale in a supermarket. With low promoted rates or none at all, you're stuck in the corner of the supermarket, like on the very top shelf, where unless you're really, really looking for that particular item, you're not seeing it. As compared to if you're using promoted rates, if you're using higher promoted rates, you're going to be like next to the check stand where everyone's got to pass by you. Now, eBay doesn't promise you page views. They don't promise you sales because the page view is now the buyer seeing your item and deciding, oh, wow, I'm going to click on that. And things that compel them to click on that is price, your title, good photos, that type of thing, demand. And they can't control that with your items. As far as your sales, of course, that's obvious. Once they click on your item, then that's up to you to secure the sale by having a compelling listing to get that person to buy your item. So that's kind of what it is. Whether you choose to use dynamic rates or not, that's kind of up to you. But I just thought I'd cover that here. And then important details about international shipping. We're not going to really go into international shipping. I don't use it currently, eBay's international shipping program, because when I did opt in, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, it immediately killed the sales in both of my accounts. It just died. We gave it a couple days on my main account, almost a week on the other account, and I said, forget this, I'm opting out. And literally within hours of me opting out of that program, my sales came back to life, came back to normal, and I haven't looked back since. So there's no need for me to opt in, especially when other sellers are experiencing slow sales because they're opting in. It's a good program on its face. I don't think it's bug-free just yet, which is why I'm going to wait. But the idea that you can ship your items to a U.S. address, you don't have to worry about anything. Once it hits eBay, once they receive the item, it's in their hands and they ship it out. Returns, you don't have to deal with anymore. And, going back, there's a part that I skipped. I didn't want to go into dealing with France and Germany. They have some programs set up that are regulations, and you have to follow those things. Right now, I ship my own items out. I don't use the international shipping program through eBay. And because I don't have I think it's a UIN number, which is a special number that allows me to sell to France. I think there's a fee associated with that, which I'm not going to pay to sell to France. Essentially, my items are not being seen in France and Germany. Okay. I can't recall the last time within the last 2 years I've sold an item to France or Germany, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. As far as you guys, you might be selling things you want to ship to all the countries, including France and Germany. You may want to opt into the eBay International Shipping Program, provided that it's not killing your sales. So maybe give it a try for a week, and if your sales fall, you might want to opt out and just wait like I'm doing. So that's it, guys. There you have it. That is the eBay 2023 Summer Seller Update. And I just wanted to take time to go over it with you because I know a lot of you don't have a lot of time to go and scroll through all these pages to try to get the information. And, that's what this channel is for. I'm willing to take the time out of my day to make sure that you're updated. And hopefully this gives you just the basics. But we're going to have a live stream today. Our normal Friday live stream is not going to happen. We're going to have it today, which is Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And, we're going to talk about this in more detail. Hopefully you have questions. If you do, I'll be glad to try to find the answer for you during the live stream. And if you just can't make the live, of course, come back, click on the live later, and give it a watch. And, maybe your questions will be answered there. You can also reach out to me at flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. I'm always glad to help whenever I can. So I'll be looking to talk to some folks that way as well. Do me a favor, if you appreciate the time that I've taken to talk about this subject, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Of course, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you want to be notified the next time we go live, like today, or when we come out with another video, hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first ones to know. Well, guys, eBay continues to tinker, and yet here's another seller update that I think all of us should be aware of, but yet keeping up to speed with what eBay's doing is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you to have an excellent rest of your day, and we will talk to you very soon.